Hey yo, what's up fam? How you doing? Welcome to my channel, blackswanradio.com. I'm your host, Rondell L. Jordan. And this is our place for worldview conversation and flight music. So, today I want to kind of talk about what's happening in the United States of America. But nobody's talking about it. I mean, there's a lot going on in the world. A lot to be serious about, to take serious. Not for panic, but for preparation. See what I'm saying? We're adults. But there's a lot of distractions out there. Distractions come in the form of entertainment. Athletes, artists. These vessels are an investment. There's a reason why they're paid. Entertainers, actors. They're paid to occupy our time, and not only just to occupy us, but to cultivate the way we think. So, to occupy our time and to influence us, to desire the things that we see and behave the way that we see. And this is the benefit for the rulers of our society, or the wealthy, those who are able to afford to pay for advertisement, and marketing experts to be able to acquire a share of mind, meaning part of your conscious, like Nike or Clorox bleach, or whatever your favorite laundry detergent is, whether it's Tide or Gain, whatever it is. When you think of the product, whatever brand comes to mind is who So this show I want to talk about the political season. When you look at the two candidates, one was just convicted of crimes which I didn't pay any attention to because I knew it was nonsense. It's just a new it's a new method of politics now. I peeped the game really, during the whole Black Lives Matter, how that was used as a political tool to mobilize the black vote, and how they were able to infiltrate the sports arenas, music. They had actors, they had all the players on board. And, they know that most people, the majority, at least 75%, will not do the research. Not detailed research. So that leaves, roughly 20-25% of the population that will go a little bit deeper. But see, you have an overwhelming majority right, that will cause a peer pressure, right, that would be enough to alienate the minority who researches and make those people seem like they're crazy, like they're rebellious. And we've seen how this played out or manifested itself during the 2020 lockdowns and the restrictions that were being imposed. And, you know, this was huge. They even controlled the distance between people and enforced people to wear masks in the public. And these measures suddenly came to an end when the exercise came to an end. And what did they do? They used actors to occupy our time, our mind, to pivot our attention away from it. So everybody was talking about Will Smith and Jada and the red table talk. And that pretty much spawned an entire generation of young red pill. You know, it solidified in men's minds what we were experiencing in relationships prior. And a lot of people said, well, you know, if Will Smith is going through this, who am I? During that period of time, Bill Gates went through a divorce. Dr. Dre. You know, there was a lot of male figures that were going through these divorces, and you know, this only, like I said, for a lot of men solidified what we were going through in our little micro worlds. So now when you look on the internet, this, you know, it's a dating market. This, you know, it's females versus males. Males is going their own way. Men are going their own way. You know I've completely checked out. You know, I have zero interest in dating in the United States. You know, I think that unfortunately that our women have been weaponized against the males. They're competitors. They're patrol officers. They're, you know, and this is generally speaking. You know, they're looking for, you know, old school traditional provision, meaning they want paternal instincts to be high when it comes to providing them what they want, but they don't want paternal interest in governance and discipline and provision, direction, protection. Because protection isn't necessarily to defend you in the line of danger. Yes, it is. But that's not the first line of defense. The first line of defense is to prevent harm, to cause no harm. And sometimes that may be to make decisions that are not popular. And so what a man has to do is be willing to deal with the punishment from the woman. She's going to punish him. And the way she punishes is by withholding intimacy. And men who are married, what they're doing is they're experiencing a lack of intimacy, because women in relationships tend not to care as much about intimacy, because the relationship becomes monogamous, and monogamous is synonymous with monotonous. Monotony means consistently the same, or in their words, in modern words, boring, predictable. And so this could be counterproductive. In the male's mind, it's called stability. It's called predictability is a good thing. But in a woman's mind, it's not intriguing enough. It's not interesting. It's nothing to talk about. It's nothing to, there's no spice to the life. So the value system between the two genders are completely on two totally different opposing sides, but at the same time, the ambition is the same. Matter of fact, the female could be even more at times, even have more expectations when it comes to ambition. When you listen to, what their preferences are. And the key to understanding is a woman's preferences is anything below those preferences is she's considered settling, and settling in her mind is a negative thing. Settling in a man's mind is a positive thing. And so this is another thing that's a disconnect. I've had this conversation with groups of females and males together, and we went around the room and we each defined what settling meant to us. And among men, settling it's a compromise, because we are realistic. We realize that we're not going to get, we're not going to be able to get everything we want. I mean, maybe some, but in general, we say, this right here, I can live with. Settling is not a negative thing. It's accepting the individual for their gifts and their curse, the flaws and all. Now, if you were to say to the woman, I settled with you, see, she's going to use her definition of settling, and she's going to take that as an insult. He settled for me. I'm not what he wanted. You see what I'm saying? Because she's using her idea of what settling is. There's a disconnect there. So this is why it's very important to sit down and have conversations between men and women, both being present, and then also having conversations with just men, among men, and I think females should have conversations amongst females. But we have to understand there's a time and a place. The internet is not a place, or YouTube at least for sure, is not the place on the internet to have conversations with male-only content, because see, we got to understand that the woman was weaponized by programming over the last 30, 40, 50 years plus. But what she's been exposed to on TV put thoughts in her mind that establish expectations in the real world, but this world that she's living isn't real. It's a fabricated world based off of the images she's seen on the TV, on the internet. So unless we realize what the ultimate issue is, it's the programming. If you look at the TV shows of the 90s, even the TV shows of, especially now, how the male figures were feminine. The only way that they could get their show approved is if the male behaved a certain way. And oftentimes, he was incompetent. He was, he messed up the plumbing. He messed up the electricity in the house. He goofed up when it came to fixing the roof.